You could say the SR-71 was a high-maintenance bird. Each time, it took about 18 to 20 hours to make the aircraft ready for the crew. This included avionics specialists uploading mission information into the aircraft. It took a crew of 16 a few hours to inspect every area of the airplane prior to each flight. Then 4 people would spend an hour to fuel the aircraft. The aircrew arrived at the hangar 40 minutes before the scheduled takeoff time. Prior to each flight, the spikes were tested to ensure they would extend and retract within 1/10 of an inch of each other. This was important to ensure that supersonic shock waves would form equally on both sides of the aircraft. Otherwise, it would have caused an aerodynamic disturbance. Each spike was responsible for holding a shock wave in place by moving horizontally up to 26 inches. That's because at 80,000 feet, the air is too thin, and the faster you go, the more air and fuel the engines require. And retracting the spikes at higher speeds allowed more air in. The movement of the spikes also kept the shock waves from being engulfed by the inlets, because if a shock wave entered the inlets, it would have hit the first rows of compressor blades with such force that it would have instantly destroyed the engines. Speaking of engines, the Blackbird's J58 engines did not have a starter, so an AG330 start truck nicknamed Buick was used to start the engine. Originally, inside a start cart, there were 2 Buick V8 engines mounted in tandem with automatic transmission that had a vertical drive shaft which was inserted inside the Blackbird's engine. Each engine required 1 Buick cart to start, and it was incredibly loud since the engines had no mufflers. The limiting factor in flying the SR-71 at Mach 3 was not the amount of fuel, but the amount of liquid nitrogen which was required. See, as the fuel was consumed, fuel vapors would fill the top of the tank, which could ignite, since during Mach 3 flights, the fuel tank heated up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. For example, on July 17, 1996, a TWA Boeing 747 exploded 13 minutes after taking off from New York due to fuel vapor ignition inside the center fuel tank. Therefore, to prevent the Blackbird from exploding, the solution was to purge fuel vapors and replace them with inert nitrogen gas. A heater would convert the liquid nitrogen into gas, which then circulated throughout the fuel system. But during aerial refueling, the nitrogen was vented out of the fuel tanks whenever the tank's pressure exceeded 6 psi. The thing is, there were only 2 27.5-gallon liquid nitrogen tanks on the Blackbird, so the airplane's range was limited by the amount of liquid nitrogen inside the tanks. Later on, a 13-gallon additional tank was installed to extend the range of the aircraft.